What do you think about that thing I sent you today that compares the number of people that voted in 2020 versus the number of people that voted in 2024 and in 2016?
Sure does look strange.
Like, look at the difference in how many people voted for Biden in 2020. It's unprecedented. It's way higher than any other time.
Yeah, and to be clear, 2012 and 2016 were not low turnout years.
No, they're all consistent. Yeah. This is what's crazy. They're consistent. Look, they're all like 60. Look at where the number is. It's all like 65 million. Is that what it says? Mm-hmm. So that's all the same every fucking time except 2020. In 2020, it goes way the fuck up.
You know how in like the corporate media world, it's like this is the biggest crime ever to even ask this question? But you kind of can't blame us for asking it when everything you say is a lie.
The ballots that came in the middle of the night are weird. And the fact that you had mail-in ballots, that's weird. Because the thing about mail-in ballots is different than anything else. It's not a chain of custody. All right? There's a guy who drops it off, and then the postman gets it. And who knows what the fuck that guy does it.
The numbers for Biden and Trump were grossly inflated in 2020. And this was brought into perspective for people on election night 2024. And the internet blew up with what the hell is going on with those 2020 numbers. At the time of this recording, these numbers are more reflective of what the actual totals will be. There are states that are still not finished counting their ballots. The spread in Trump voters is about 2 million. The spread in Democratic voters is over 8 million. I was an elections investigator in Georgia in 2020 and 2021, and I have a pretty good idea of what happened. I want to be clear, this is only my opinion of how we reached these inflated numbers for both the Trump campaign and Biden campaigns in 2020. Remember this part when Joe Rogan lamented about the lack of chain of custody of mail-in ballots?
The thing about mail-in ballots is different than anything else. It's not a chain of custody.
Joe Rogan is right about chain of custody issues, and this led to a problem in the 2020 election. I was an elections investigator in Fulton County, Cobb County, and DeKalb County, Georgia in 2020 and 2021. And I looked at this audit file in 2021 and found this suspicious entry. This file was looked at by USA Today and several other legacy media companies, and all of them ignored this entry. Understand, this is from an audit file the Georgia Secretary of State released. So what you're looking at is from an audit file, and it has this entry about Fulton absentee scanner. It's got a batch number, and you see the two entries. There are 110 votes for Trump, 556 votes for Biden. The problem is one is marked election day and then another one is marked absentee by mail. But the information on these entries is identical. They are absentee scanner 2 batch 244 to 249. You can't have those numbers on the exact same batches. Only one batch can be identified like that. And these batches have a problem. If you look at where it says absentee scanner 2 batch, the top entry has a lowercase b instead of an uppercase b, and it's changed to election day. Or the other one is changed to absentee by mail. So in this situation, Trump would get 220 votes and Biden would get over 1,000 votes. I believe this kind of stunt using a mix of absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, and digital information was replicated to inflate both candidates' numbers, resulting in the outrageous ballot count we saw in 2020. I only came across this because USA Today was using this audit file to try and debunk voter fraud rumors. And when I saw this here, I was pretty shocked that they all ignored this entry. It is obviously manipulated. You can't have the same batch going in on election day and absentee by mail. This is a real problem. And the spread between the 2016 election and 2020 is 15 million. We are supposed to believe that Joe Biden pulled in 15 million more voters than President Obama or candidate Hillary Clinton. Realizing there is no chain of custody for these mail-in ballots has made people look at the 2020 ballot numbers a second time.
So my point is, who knows what that post guy's doing? Like, you could just throw some stuff in the garbage. If you know you're in a Republican county, throw some stuff in the garbage. If you're a cab driver from some other country and you're over in America and someone says, I'm going to give you a bag of ballots, I'm going to put them in your trunk and you're going to go take them to this place. You're like, okay. You're going to give me $500? Okay, I'll drop off these ballots. Like,
Amber McReynolds was the architect behind the mail-in ballot scheme in 2020. After the election, President Joe Biden elevated her to the Board of Governors for the United States Postal Service. She went all the way to Washington, D.C., and now decides our postal policy.
There's always been election fraud. To pretend that we lie about the very fine people. He said there were very fine people on both sides. Obama's lying about that in front of the whole world. They lie about everything. You don't think they would cheat?